You need a plan for language facilitation success. It doesn't, I know it happens naturally, but it does not happen without a structured, organized plan, because the plan is more for you. Remember, I'm a parent coach and I don't work directly with the child, but if you look at any kind of preschool or even early learning situation, these teachers, these classroom teachers, have a firm plan about what's going on. And that's just not for the teacher to stay organized. It's also so the children know what to expect, when they have to show up and work hard, when it's time for them to relax and have fun, when they have to turn their listening ears on. All of that stuff is really important for you to communicate in your structured plan. And that's why we're going to talk about what is involved in this, okay? So facilitators definitely need a plan for language facilitation success. And how that plan looks and how you write it down is going to be different for every parent. Excuse me. So here's what it is. It's a dedicated facilitation time every day. This is what your plan is consisting of. And it must include, this is the requirement for enough facilitation time. Hang on, just gonna take a drink. Sorry about that. Okay, so number one here is 2 to 3 hours every single day of focused facilitation time. In order to see language develop, you need dedicated time every day to focus on giving your child the language they have missed. And the number one requirement is that it takes 2 to 3 hours every day of focused facilitation time. It doesn't happen all in one 2 to 3 hour chunk. It happens all through your daily experiences. And number two is these functional experiences with personal value. Just the time that you put together can't be made up things that you think are going to be fun or good for your child. They're functional experiences with personal value both to you and to your child. And then 50% of these experiences need to be one-on-one, where it is just you and the child at least an hour and a half every single day, speaking to them with language models that they can learn from. Not things they already know, but new language that they can learn from, at least 50% in one-on-one experiences. That's why you've got to carve out this time so that you make sure you are providing the extra language that your child needs to develop beyond the level of communication where they are right now. And it involves a planned itinerary. That's why I'm telling you, you need a plan of opportunities and activities that will give you the, again, opportunity to use this expanded language that your late talker needs to hear, okay? And then here's why it's super important. This is why they need it. I already talked a little bit about it, but full-time facilitation, you need a minimum of 3 to 6 months to learn a language properly. So you need a plan that you're able to sustain for a long time. It's not going to happen. Nobody learns language in a month. They might start talking and using some phrases and things like that within a month or even 3 to 6 weeks for sure. But they're not going to be confident enough to use this language out in the community, to make friends with all of their people, the people you want them to be talking to, not for at least 3 to 6 months, depending on how much language they have today. And then number two, you're going to have to maintain your priority responsibilities. So, for example, if you work or you're the breadwinner for your family, this is a priority and you have to maintain this. You can't just take a break forever from work, maybe a short-term thing, excuse me, but you won't see the kind of progress that you need unless you are also able to maintain these responsibilities. Because if you put these responsibilities off to focus on your child and then they come back up again, what are you going to do? You're not able to focus on your child at the same time you're maintaining these priority responsibilities. That's why you need a plan. And these responsibilities are different for every family. Number three is to maintain personal relationships for support. Again, you might be wanting to focus 150% on your child, but that's not reality, and it takes a village to raise a child. So, in your plan, you're going to have to plan for long term, plan to maintain what you've got to do, and also plan to take care of the people that, or have get people around that can help take care of you. And then number four is to plan to give up whatever's blocking progress unless you decide these things are not working. If your child, I'm just going to pull this back, if your child has been in a therapy for 3 months, 6 months, or longer, and you're not seeing progress, it is okay, 100% okay, to take a break from that experience. Even if your child loves the teacher, it fits in your insurance plan, you don't pay anything out of pocket, your focus, the reason you're here is because you want your child to make functional improvement in their spoken language, and keeping them in situations that don't facilitate at least 1% of functional speech improvement every day, right? Then you can replace that with something better to get the progress going that you want. Remember, these are the requirements. If you want to see progress, you have to change, and that change includes especially giving up anything that's not working. I can't say that enough. These people will tempt you and bribe you and all kinds of things, offer you the sun and the moon and stars to keep your kids in the clinic. But if it is not working, you need to plan to give up whatever's not, if it's not. That's blocking your progress. If it's not working, it's wasting your time. Okay. So here's how you're going to implement this stuff, folks. These are the strategies to meet the time requirement for natural language emergence. Number one, you have to profile your priorities every 3 weeks. In my workbook, I give you profile pages. You can do it in a journal, but these priorities will change, and you'll have new things that come up. And so you're going to have to figure out how to keep these priorities, again, managed in your schedule. And they're your child's priorities as well as yours. You're also going to teach through challenges via 1% daily improvement. So if your child isn't potty trained or eating at the table or doing, whatever you need them to do, these challenges that are disrupting your day and making it hard for you to meet your other priorities, this is where you have to dig in. And you're going to put these challenges in your schedule as the thing for you to work through and teach. And then your itinerary, it's a whole plan from sun up to sundown that includes both the jobs you have to do and the fun things you want to do. And lay it out so kids know when to expect to show up and work hard, and also when to expect to show up and have a great time, where they won't be expected to work hard because they know when a break comes that they'll have a break, as long as you allow them to have their break and have their fun too. Nobody wants to work 24/7. And number four is to recruit family and friends to take over and expand these facilitation activities. Remember, it does take a village. You're going to need somebody around. And if you can't if there's no one in your family, your partner's working too much, all of that stuff, you can hire an assistant and get them trained. I'm going to talk to you about how that works at the end of the video. So you do need assistance. It's very challenging for one person to do this on their own. They have good teachers, they have good daycare providers, they have good parents or nannies or cousins or sisters or even other siblings that you can pass off some of this time for, so that you can have a break, focus on the other priorities you have to focus on, including your own self-care. It's really, really important that you have this. It is a requirement, because you're not going to meet the time requirement of 2 to 3 hours a day if you're putting out fires from other priorities that aren't managed. Okay. So that's why you need a plan. And those are the strategies. Now, remember, this is all about connection, and how are you going to 2 to 3 hours connect with the late talker. And in the workbook, you can see these connection levels to understand if your child, because this is from your child's perspective, are they choosing to connect with you, or are they afraid, confused, or they understand what's going on, but they don't like it, so they're leaving. This is fight or flight below the line. And above the line is they're at least curious about what you have, and happy and excited and all of that stuff. And so this is what's necessary, right? When you plan your itinerary, it's an itinerary of connected activities from sunrise to sunset that get you through your day. Yes, of course, but in a connected way. In a connected way. So, somebody wants to know, can you give examples of schedules and activities to do? It varies from every family. So, your examples of activities to do could be anywhere from waking up and brushing teeth, choosing your clothes, having your morning meal, who's preparing that morning meal, are they talking about that experience? These are things you have to do. Commuting, wearing shoes, and then surrounding all of these functional activities that you put into your schedule, there are ways to teach it from preparation to execution to cleanup, right? It's not, you're not setting up these things for your child to show up and do. It's cooperative. That's why the connected activity is the key to this experience. If it's just you either making your child do something because they have to do it without teaching them to be independent in that skill, like brushing their teeth, combing their hair, choosing their clothes, getting dressed, whatever they struggle with, not getting the right thing, not holding the toothbrush enough, not liking the taste of the toothpaste, um, playing around in the bathroom instead of taking it seriously. This is your facilitation activity because you find it important for your child to brush their teeth. So you're making that situation happen right now in a way. This is your opportunity to change and shift it from this situation to a functional learning situation, from a prompted, guided, manipulated situation to get through the activity to something functional where every day your child gets better and better and better at that skill. So after 100 days or less, because they might make leaps and bounds improvement once they figure it out. This is what you usually find out. But at the beginning, they might be like, I don't even want to do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. That learned helplessness, that lack of connection. First, you have to get the connection with the child and get them to see this teeth brushing activity as valuable as you do. And you make it easy, you make it happy, you make it feel safe, and you make it feel fun, right? Each one of these things that you do in your day, every day. And I'm going to show you in the following strategies about how to do that. But these activities are, so these are things you have to do. You have to sit at the table to eat. How are you going to make that more appealing and interesting for your child to do? All the ways that you make that happen. You entice your child to sit. You talk about the yummy food. You put a boundary to say food's only available at the table. All these things that you do involves the language that your child is going to learn from. It's not just teach them about the nouns and verbs of, if we're sitting at the table, I'm eating with my spoon and putting the food in my mouth and chewing it. Your child already knows that language. They want to see you doing that things and using the other language that they don't know yet to expand upon it. Ooh, that looks yummy. Can I have a bite of your paratha? Yummy. Would you like to try this new thing? It's super spicy. Get ready. All of this language that children would learn at a restaurant if they weren't looking at a tablet, or at a family dinner where everybody's talking and sharing food. And then conversation where you talk about your day and your experiences, all of that. These are the activities and opportunities that you can put into your schedule. And then, of course, the fun things that your child wants to do: going to the park, riding a bike, watering the plants, playing in the water, here where it's getting super hot around the world, having everyday outdoor play with the hose and the sprinklers and swimming pools and all of those things. These are the activities that you put into your schedule, and it varies for every family. That's why it's important that you do a profile. The profile pages in the workbook, you have to do them before you set your itinerary and even do your analysis, because you have to figure out, what is my child actually struggling with? What are they great at? What's frustrating them about their experience in life that I can make easier, happier, safer, and more fun? Okay, this is your job in the schedule. But without a schedule of, when we go to the park, I can practice language that way. But because we're going to take a walk, instead of ride in the car and we're going to talk about everything we see. Even if it gets too hot, we're going to make sure we take water so that we don't get too hot on our walk to the park. And if he gets tired, we're going to talk about what to do when we get tired, and all of that stuff. And then if it's too long to walk, we're going to practice riding the scooter, right? And how we can get there faster when we ride the scooter or ride a bicycle, and introduce these things that your child wants to do with new tools and strategies that make it better. And that's actually what we're going to be moving into next. So I hope that makes sense to you. You know what to do. Whatever you do, you already do these things every day. And what you need to do is change that to make them all in a very connected activity. So those of you who are watching either live or on the replay, please hit that like button.